Okay, so let us continue. So next is the positioning terminologies that we are using when we are talking about mammography. And ang mga terms na to are very important also when indicating the pathologies that are present in the different parts of the breast as well as kapag nagpo-position ng breast during the mammographic examinations. So vertically, the attachment of the breast extends from the second to the second to the sixth rib and at the level of the fourth costal cartilage. So yung attachment ng breast starts from the second rib up to the sixth rib and at the level of the fourth costal cartilage. So that is the vertical attachment. For the transverse naman, so it starts from the side of the sternum towards the mid-axillary line. Then we have this term breast axis, axial plane, and transverse plane. So breast axis is a line drawn from the center of the circle towards the nipple. So it is an imaginary line. Aha, lobat ako. Ini lobat ko dulu. Apa sa? So breast axis is a line drawn from the center of the circle to the nipple. So it is an imaginary line. Okay? Ang breast axis is an imaginary line drawn from the center of the circle of the nipple. So sa next slide may picture dyan para mas maintindihan nyo kung ano yung breast axis. And there are two planes of importance in radiographic positioning that passes through the breast axis. So, ang breast axis, may dalawang planes na very important sa radiographic positioning, and these two planes are the axial plane and the transverse plane, and both of these planes pass through the breast axis. So, axial plane, it divides the breast into inner and outer portions. So, axial, inner, and outer portions. So, while transverse naman, so it passes the breast axis and lies at right angles to the vertical axial plane, and it intersects it along the breast axis. So, eto siya. So, ito yung ating breast axis. So, it is an imaginary line drawn towards the circle. So, ito yung circle natin. And then, from the center of the circle, towards this line is called the breast axis. And ang eggshell plane, so it divides the breast into inner, outer. For example, ito yung ating breast axis. Ito siya, it divides the inner into outer. While the vertical, so ito naman siya. Okay? Eggshell plane, or sorry, hindi vertical, transverse plane. So ito. So it divides naman the upper and the lower portions of the breast, and it intersects dito sa ating eggshell plane. And because of this intersection between the eggshell and the transverse plane, now we have the 4 quadrants, or sometimes referred to as the 4 zones of the breast. So it is numbered here in 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 is the outer upper zone, or the outer upper quadrant. Then we have here the upper inner, ang number 2. Ito siya, upper inner. Number 3 is the lower outer. Ito. And we have the lower inner. So these are the 4 quadrants. So first, second, third, and fourth quadrants. So it is important to know kung paano siya ninanumberan. Hindi siya, so for uniform purposes, understanding, so ang pagkaka-number, hindi siya pwedeng ito yung 1, dito yung 2. Tapos dito yung 3, dito yung 4. Okay? So, para uniform all throughout the mammographic facilities, kahit sa ibang hospital, so ganito ang pagkaka-number para mas madaling magkaintindihan. Halimbawa, kapag pinag-uusapan, pasyente from one hospital, tapos i-refer sa another hospital. So, pagde-describe is, for example, there is a mass found at the third quadrant. So, ibig sabihin, understood na that is the lower outer. Hindi pwedeng yung third quadrant na pinag-uusapan sa Hospital A will be the different area sa Hospital B. So, understood siya na pag third quadrant, so that is lower outer. As you can see here, we have the tail here. Hindi siya yung bilog. Okay? So, meron siyang tail sa part na to. So, the tail here is also referred to as the axillary tail or the tail of Spence. So, sa axillary tail or sa tail of Spence, dito ang mostly nagde-drain ng ating lymph fluid, as I have mentioned kanina, and because of that, most of the breast anomaly, breast cancer is dito nag-occur sa ating tail of Spence or sa axillary tail. So also, ito yung lumabas last board exam yata, yung mga quadrants, yung zones, and then yung clock. Okay, so we have the 12 o'clock, the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. So of course, we have there the 2, 3. Tapos 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, tapos 10, 11. So, isa din sa mga purposes kung bakit aside sa quadrants, aside sa zones, so lower outer zones, inner outer zones, ay inner lower zones. So, isa din sa mga reasons bakit meron tayong mga numbering just like clock. So, clock numbering siya. Para specific din yung pag-describe ng location ng isang tumor or microcalcification or mass. For example, pwede siyang sabihin na the mass is located at the first quadrant. So, first quadrant. So, that is the upper outer at 10 o'clock. Okay, so very, very specific siya. Kunyari, pag ganito yung description niya, malalaman natin na dito siya banda. Kasi pag sinabi lang natin, let's say, first quadrant. So, buong ito, pag sa left, ito yung first quadrant. Kasi di ba pag first quadrant, upper, outer. So, ito siya. So, malaking area din yan. So, kapag halimbawa magbabiopsy, so mahihirapan sila kasi trial and error. So, kailangan very specific para mas magiging accurate ang diagnosis, ang result. Okay? So, hindi lang siya sasabihin na sa first quadrant. Hindi lang din sasabihin na sa upper outer zone. But instead, sinasabi din na sa 10 o'clock or 10:30 or 11 man yan, at least they will be able to identify na, pag 10 o'clock dito yan banda. O hindi siya dito or hindi siya dito. Okay? So, that is for the clock zones. So, ito yung sinasabi ko din. Ito yung ating breast axis. Then we have here the axial plane and the transverse plane. So, they intersect at the nipple area. And the portion here is the axillary tail or the tail of Spence kung saan kadalasan nakikita or nag-occur ang breast cancer or breast anomaly. So, based on the research, so sa upper outer quadrant, so 50% of breast cancer originates in this area. Especially kasi sa upper quadrant, nandito rin kasama sa upper quadrant ang tail of Spence, ha? Kaya mas mataas ang percentage na nagkakaroon ng breast cancer sa upper outer quadrant or sa first quadrant. Dahil nandyan sakop niya ang ating tail of Spence. And sa lower outer quadrant or sa third, so this is the first quadrant, second, third, and fourth. Sa third quadrant, 11% lang ang findings nila na merong cancer sa area na to. Sa upper inner naman, so only 15%. And sa lower inner, that is about 6%. And sa nipple, including the areolar area, it is only about 18%. So, very, very minimal compare natin sa upper outer quadrant. So, again, the breast is divided into quadrants. So, ito nga yung ating nabanggit na lower outer sa first quadrant. Then, we have the lower inner. So, first quadrant. Ito ang second quadrant. So, first, second. Then, we have this upper outer. Teka, baligtad ang numbering ko. So, lower outer, ito siya. So, this is the third quadrant. Then, lower inner, this is the fourth quadrant. Upper outer is the first quadrant. Upper inner is the second quadrant. Then, we have the clock here. So, 12, 3, 6, and 9. So, the same din ang ginagawa, ang pagkaka-describe, pagkaka-number sa ating left breast. In the normal erect resting position, so kapag nakatayo ang babae or nakaupo, the axial plane is about 20 to 30 degrees with the sagittal plane of the body. So, 20 to 30 degrees with the sagittal plane of the body. Normal erect resting position, ibig sabihin walang bra. Pag transverse plane, it is about 30 to 50 degrees with the horizontal plane of the body. So, axial is 20 to 30 degrees in relation to sagittal plane. Pag transverse plane naman, 30 to 50 degrees in relation to the horizontal plane. The axillary tail or the tail of Spence refers to the prolongation. As you have seen kanina, parang tail siya. Prolongation into the axilla of the superolateral portion of the breast or yung ating first quadrant or yung ating upper outer. So, superolateral portion of the breast along the lower border of the pectoralis major. So, sa lower area siya ng ating muscle that is referred to as the pectoralis major. As for the retromammary space, this lies between or behind the glandular tissue and should be, so it should be visible on a correctly positioned mammogram. So meaning, we can say na tama ang pagkakaposisyon natin sa breast during mammographic examination if visible ang retromammary space. So, ito siya. Itong portion na to. So, behind the glandular tissue, and should be visible. As mentioned sa previous slide, the breast has 15 to 20 lobes, and each of these lobes has a main duct which opens towards the nipple. Ito siya. So, yung mga lobes na yan, so, yan yung ating lumalaki, nagkakaroon ng milk secretions, and later it discharges sa nipple. So, ang pectoralis major natin, ito siya, just in front of the vertebra. So, muscle siya. Then, after ng pectoralis major is the retromammary space in this area. And then, after ng retromammary space, we have here the breast tissue. So, pag younger pa, so glandular tissue muna, and then some fatty tissue, or yung ating sinasabi ko kanina na denser tissue or the glandular tissue. Pag matanda na, after ng retromammary space, fatty tissue na agad. Okay? So, pag bata pa, after ng retromammary space, will be the glandular tissue, then some fatty tissues and other structures. So again, we have here the vertebra, the human rib cage, and then we have here the muscles. And then yung ating retromammary space in this area here. And then we have the glandular tissue here. So, bali, ang ating retromammary space is between the glandular tissue and ng ating pectoralis major. Then, we have here the mammary glands. Then, milk ducts. Tapos, mag-e-eject siya ng milk through the sinuses. Papunta sa nipple. Then, areola here. Of course, we have the skin, adipose tissue, or yung ating fats. So, hindi lahat ng nipple pointed. Okay? So, meron mga nipples na nandito sa baba. Okay? Especially pag matanda na, so it is pointed downward. So, sana kung meron ding mammogram daw for the babae, for the breast of the female, sana may manogram din. So, ano kaya ang iipitin dito? So, to continue with the female breast anatomy, so the breast or the mammary gland is one of the accessory organs of the female reproductive system. So, kasama siya sa reproductive system ang female breast. It is an accessory organ. The adult breasts comprised of two rounded eminences situated on the anterior and lateral walls of the chest, which lie superficially. So, superficial siya or in front of the pectoralis muscles or pectoralis major, and it is separated from them by the areolar tissue and fascia. So, as mentioned then sa previous slide, so they are attached vertically, second to sixth ribs, and from lateral border of the sternum to the mid-axillary line. So, ito yung attachment ng breast ha, normal attachment. So, vertically, second to sixth rib, and laterally naman is the lateral border of the sternum towards the mid-axillary line. So, the upper portion, or the superolateral part, is prolonged upwards, papunta sa ating axilla, and laterally towards the axilla to form the axillary tail. So, again, ang axillary tail or tail of Spence, kasama siya sa ating upper outer quadrant or sa first quadrant or sa upper outer zones or sa superolateral part. The nipple is a conical projection just below the center of the breast. So take note, this also means that the nipple is not the center of the breast. So for example, if this is the breast, kung nandito yung nipple, ito yung center niya. Okay? So dito magsisimula yung ating breast axis, yung kanina. Corresponding approximately to the 4th to 5th intercostal space. So, normally kapag hindi nagsasag ang nipple, normally the nipple is at the level of approximately 4th to 5th intercostal space. Okay? So, normally, kung hindi siya downward, yung normal position ng breast, so it is at the level of approximately 4th to the 5th intercostal space. So, attachment niya again vertically from second to the sixth rib. So, ito siya. So, yan yung breast. And then, sa horizontal naman, so from the lateral ng sternum towards the mid-axillary level or line. So, ito naman yung in addition dun sa vascularities. So, the thoracoacromial arteries, so which is one of the sources of the oxygenated blood that is supplied sa chest walls and sa breast. Then we have the septum. Septum meaning it is a division or partition. Ito siya. Then we have the fourth and the fifth end. The fifth intercostal artery, which is also a source of oxygen-rich blood. And for the nerve, we have the deep branch of fourth intercostal nerve, which is also for sensation. So as mentioned earlier, so we have this Cooper's ligament. And the purpose of this is to support the breast, and also the Cooper's ligament determines the firmness or the lack of firmness of the breast. So kung nag-break na, napigtas, naputol ang Cooper's ligament, so less firm na ang breast. Pero kapag connected pa siya, ito, so firm pa, kumbaga tayong-tayo siya. Ito naman, pag nag-break, so nagsasag na ang breast. The Cooper's ligament is also referred to as the suspensory ligaments or the ligamenta suspensoria mammaria. So, ito yung tatlong names ng Cooper's ligament. So, Cooper's ligament or suspensory ligaments or the ligamenta suspensoria mammaria. So, these ligaments are connective tissue in the breast that maintain its structural integrity. So, kumbaga, ang ating Cooper's ligament ang nagde-determine kung gaano kaganda ang shape ng ating breast. They fix the breast from the skin to the pectoral fascia. So, they are the ones responsible para ang ating breast ay nakakapit dito sa ating muscles, the pectoral muscles. Kung hindi na siya nakakabit, yung iba naputol na, so nagsasag na ang breast. Especially, this is very, very common sa mga malalakiang capsites. With increasing age and especially after menopause, the glandular elements, yung ating denser tissues, become less prominent and eventually they are replaced by the adipose tissue or the fatty tissues. Fat attenuates the beam less, so less ang absorption ng fat sa X-ray beam, while the glandular breast tissue mas mataas ang absorption or attenuation niya ng X-ray beam. And because of this, dahil less ang absorption ng fat sa X-rays, they appear radiolucent or radiodense or darker. Since ang glandular breast tissue or yung ating denser tissues na sinasabi ko kanina, mas mataas ang attenuation niya sa X-rays. Therefore, maputi or radiopaque ang appearance. Significant disease which tends to be dense and produce high attenuation or bright areas on the film is detected more easily under fatty tissues. So, ang sabi dito, kapag yung mga significant diseases like yung mass, tumor, calcification sa breast, so they are dense and they produce high attenuation. So, nag-absorb sila ng X-rays and therefore they appear bright. So, kung more on fatty tissues which appear dark, tapos ang ating anomaly or pathology sa breast appears white, so mas madali natin siyang ma-identify. Kaya nga, yun yung na-explain ko kanina na mas maganda pag medyo may edad na ang babae, basta low risk, na mag-undergo ng mamo kasi mas madaling ma-identify yung pathological structures. Pero pag high risk, so kahit bata pa, need pa din ang pagmamo. Okay? So this is for normal, low risk patients. Younger breast tissue is denser because of the glandular tissue. And as I have mentioned then earlier, these glandular tissues are very, very sensitive to radiation. Therefore, iniiwasan and it is not recommended for low-risk female patients to undergo mammographic examination if they are below 40 years old. Sa ibang libro, 50 years old. May ibang libro, 45, 55. So, para safe, so 40 and above. So, ito ulit siya. So, i-compare natin glandular tissue and adipose tissue. So, glandular tissue appears white because they absorb radiation higher. Kaya puti ang appearance. Whereas pag naman adipose tissue or fatty tissue, so they attenuate less radiation, therefore they appear dark. So mas madali nating makita, halimbawa dito yung mga anomalies. Dito hindi nakikita. Kasi parang pareho lang din. Tingnan ulit natin. Kung meron man, so magdududa ka kasi parang normal lang din siya na breast tissue. Pero pag older women, older patients, so madali siya makita. It can easily be identified. So cancer in a fatty breast is easy to spot, but it is hard to see cancer in a dense breast because dense tissue and cancer have the same appearance, which is white. So ultrasound can be recommended for this one. Or kung may budget, mas maganda pag PET for early detection of cancer, any cancer, hindi lang breast cancer. So we have also here, so extremely dense, so may limit mammography kasi wala ka rin naman makikitang anomaly dito or pathology kasi puro siya white, almost white. Ito naman, heterogeneous dense, so may obscure small masses. So pwede na rin siya pero baka yung mass or calcification or tumor nandito, halimbawa, so hindi rin makikita. Ito naman, scattered areas of fibroglandular density, which can also be rendered difficult kapag naghahanap tayo ng pathology kasi baka natabunan din. Pero pag ito, almost entirely fat density, so mas madaling makita ang anomaly. So in addition, the younger breast is also more sensitive to the adverse effects of ionizing radiation. So therefore, ultrasound is often used as the first-line investigation in younger patients, especially under 35 years of age. So may ibang book, 35, 40, so 45, 50, 55. So basta kung younger, tapos low risk lang din naman, ultrasound na, kumpara lang sa check-up. Pero kung may history sa family ng breast cancer, or may suspected breast cancer, or may anomaly, nafe-feel mo na there is something wrong with the breast, so pamamo na kahit bata pa. Okay? So it will still depend on the recommendation of the doctor upon checking you up. Kapag na-check up ka ng OB-GYN, so it will still depend sa results ng check-up niya sa'yo kung anong i-recommend niya, kung mammo, ultrasound, or PET. Okay, so we will end here for this evening and we will continue tomorrow. So far, do you